If you can do it by chat or something like that, that'll help. And do you hear me also? Cool. Naveen, can you hear me? Or I'm understanding, trying to understand what does that reaction mean? Cool. I've got some confirmation, so I'll start. So, hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Ashutosh Garg. I am the co-founder and the head of growth at TestTribe. I take care of events, community growth, and a lot of other things at the TestTribe. And let's start with the intros first. I'll do a quick intro about TestTribe to all of you, and then we'll call Jaydeep on stage, and then we'll get on with the AMA session. In today's AMA session, folks, we're going to discuss about AI and leadership. We'll divide this into 3-4 parts. The first part being strategic shift in Q leadership due to AI. Then we'll do a little bit of segue into real world use of AI in testing. Then we'll try to use agentic. Then we'll try to go into agentic workforce in testing, and then responsible AI, upskilling of into AI and team design. So we're going to talk a lot about AI and leadership today. And with that, let me first do a quick intro. Let me share my tab. Cool. So here we are. So once again, a formal welcome to all of you on this AMA with Jaydeep Chakrabarty, who is the Director of AI and Tech at Piramal Finance. We're discussing today about AI into testing leadership and strategic shifts, real world use, and what is next for us. And like always, we're doing this in collaboration with BrowserStack, who are our premier sponsor for all our conferences and exclusive sponsor for all our community events. There have been great collaborators over years, and they have enabled us to do this consistently over years now. Just hold on, I have a chat. Just hold on for this digression. Okay, I'll share the screen again. Okay, can you see my screen now? I think I missed sharing it earlier. Can somebody say yes or no in chat if they can see my screen? Thank you, Shiva. Cool. We'll go ahead with this.
BrowserStack began in 2011 with a bold vision to simplify testing for development teams everywhere. Founded by Ritesh Arora and Nakul Agarwal, it has grown into the world's leading cloud testing platform. From launching automated testing in 2013 to building a cutting-edge AI-powered test platform today, BrowserStack has consistently innovated to stay ahead of developers and QA's needs. We now enable over 1 billion tests annually, with 7 million users across 135+ countries and 700+ engineers, driving AI innovation across 30+ testing products by 2026. Trusted by 50,000+ customers, including nearly every Fortune 500 company, BrowserStack powers testing across industries like technology, finance, retail, automotive, and more. BrowserStack, the comprehensive test platform.
Yeah, so that's about BrowserStack. Now about TestTribe. TestTribe is the world's largest software testing community today. And we started in 2018 with a mission to give testing craft the glory it deserves. And we believe it can happen when we co-create smarter, prouder, and confident testers like you. We take immense pride in solving for upskilling and growth for global testing professionals and creating safe spaces for them where they can share their queries, apprehensions, uncertainties, ambiguities, doubts, all of it, right? And we intend to provide life-altering growth to every single testing professional on the planet through community and technology. We're doing this playbook for AI leaders, which is happening on the 3rd weekend of September. Practical tools for the future. Our team will do post a link, and if you're keen, just let us know. Okay, about Jaydeep. Now, the speaker for today, the man in the hot seat. He is my professional director of AI Tech at Piramal Capital, and I have had the chance to hear him out at a bunch of events. Being an organizer, had the chance to meet him in person. Immensely full of knowledge, especially very deep into AI. He's an ex-ThoughtWorks. He was the founder of GPT Wizards at ThoughtWorks and has held roles as head of generative AI, R&D, and head of communities, and of course, a principal consultant. He has contributed to a lot of open source projects and driven major AI initiatives. He's an active speaker, author, and chess enthusiast. And like always, Jaydeep is passionate about collaboration, agile delivery, and building thriving communities. I am super excited to have him here, hear him out about AI, leadership, and a lot more. With that, let me call Jaydeep on stage. Hi, Jaydeep.
Hey.
You're on stage. I'm on stage. Both of us are on
Hi,
stage.
Ashutosh. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Folks,
Awesome.
what we can do is we are not in auditorium here, but we are in a virtual auditorium. So we can give a kind of a virtual applause, virtual emojis, and things like that, so that all of us feel at home here.
I think thank you so much for the introduction. And first of all, I think it's 9 p.m. at night. Thanks to everyone who took the time to basically. I wish it was a Friday,
Yeah.
but it's Thursday. But thanks
I
anyways.
always say this like a broken record, Jaydeep, that people who take time out to upskill on a 9 p.m. on a weekday, they've already taken the first step. It's just building up from here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyways.
So we'll start with the
But
first
good to be here.
section.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Jaydeep. So we'll start with the first section today, where we'll go into the kind of strategic shifts which have happened in QA leadership, and then we'll go into other sections. The first section is first question which I have for you, Jaydeep, is what has changed when it comes to test leadership when we look at a lens from an AI lens, and a sub question to this is what long held assumptions about QA leadership no longer hold true in this era of AI?
So what has changed and what doesn't
hold true anymore?
What doesn't hold true anymore? Okay. Yeah. I think. But showing thumbs up here, people. There are 43 people watching. How many of you are actually using something like a GitHub Copilot or a Cursor or something like that to write your tests today? You can give a thumbs up or something like that if your organization uses.
So if you're using GitHub Copilot or something like that, something similar to these test cases, you can give a thumbs up, or you can put a yes in chat, or mention the tool you're using, whatever you're doing. Shiva is using, Dharmendra is using.
Great.
I think there are more people who might be using, trying to.
So while I think all of us have tried writing code as a QA or as a developer. The first thing when we came to know about the fact that, okay, hey, something like a GPT or Claude can write code, we definitely went ahead and tried something out. And I think that's the biggest change. You'll probably, if you actually made a habit of it, like it's not something like that, okay, I give you a cursor and from tomorrow you will start writing automated code. It doesn't work that way, in my opinion, because we have seen in our organization where as of today, I think there are teams whose 99% code is written by AI. I was telling Ashutosh like 2 months back also when we met, which is true for QAs as well, right? So QAs also kind of writing automation tests or the volume of tests, you will see that is increasing. There are a lot of automation being written very quickly. The frameworks are quickly being developed. And I think that's the biggest shift. Like previously, one of the things as a QA, what we used to do is basically come up with the test scenarios, test cases, and then the second step was to basically how many of those can be automated, how many of those cannot be automated, how many of those should not be automated, and then goes ahead and we went on writing the automated tests. And I think, in my opinion, that's the biggest shift with all those prompt to code tools coming up. Something like Cursor, because that's well known. We use Klein in our organization, and I'm seeing that especially in our organization, I see that QAs are getting a lot more time to actually think of scenarios, because that headache of writing tests has gone away. Because it's been 7 months, and I think it's working great for us. It took us like 4 months to get into the habit of this, as I was saying. But now I think QAs are actually spending a lot of time to come up with quality scenarios for the cases. The second shift happened is that, and I think as Ashutosh, you were mentioning that we will get into agents a little bit later. Agents are being developed, but who are going to test those agents? The chatbots are going to being developed. There are a lot of use cases around organizations coming up where there are chatbots. But testing those chatbots, which are based out of LLMs, is a different ballgame for QAs. So QAs are getting time to basically think about those scenarios as well. Another thing that I have been noticing that there are a lot of times you will see that the amount of automated tests are increasing, which is not a good practice. We figured it out with some pains, because writing automation is now easier. And as a result of which, you will say that bulk of automation tests happening. But we'll probably talk about that later as well. People are coming up with scenarios with AI as well. In many cases, you'll see that there are examples of coming out. AI did come up with great scenarios as well. Your second question to this, Ashutosh, what you asked is basically on something that is going away, is it?
Yeah, what long-held assumptions about QA leadership are not holding true in this era of AI?
Yeah, in this era of AI, but in my opinion, I think it should have gone away long before the era of AI as well. And I think slowly we are realizing that it's not the number of bugs that I have seen. Even I have been measured a lot of times with the number of bugs that I find in the organization. I don't know if that is one of the criterias for QA success. I think that assumption has to go away. I think the idea here is to basically figure out how to prevent bugs rather than making them happen, getting embedded into the delivery team rather than as a separate team of QAs. And I think the bulk of automation tests that we were talking about, at a certain point of time, at least I have seen that I have like 80% coverage of automation coverage was a measure. It's still a measure in some cases, but I think the shift should be towards what is the time, if the time is reducing between a bug is found and bug is traced.
Correct.
That's one of the metrics that I think measures today most, because 80% coverage is not a big deal anymore.
Got it. Understood. So I think we'll again come back to this question when we let's unravel more traits. You discussed about you moving towards a scenario where 99% of your code is now being written through AI or through tools like this, and I'm sure a lot of other leaders also have the same pressure from their top management to, let's say, be more AI efficient, use more AI, be more efficient in all this, right? So
yeah.
How do you, so as a leader, let's say, how do I know, or how do I know whether my team is just experimenting with AI or they're doing actual transformation also? Or is it like, so how do we even know this, right? Because, and how do we then increase investments in AI and all those kind of things? So how do we know where we are on AI adoption? Is it at an experimenting stage, at a stage where transformation will soon happen, or it has happened? So what are those stages, let's say, if I have to understand?
That's a good question, because I think one point of time you will see that these tools are so crazy and sometimes so creepy.
Correct.
That you get into the habit of like, yeah, it can do this, let's do this, let's try to create something, let's try to do this, let's try to do this. Maybe it will also go ahead and do something that we always wanted to do from the perspective of actually running a use case, running an end-to-end QA workflow. But I think if you ask me, one thing that is a sign of transformation, if you ask me, is that the team or I as a QA not running after every tool that is coming up, rather than I have figured out what is the use case for which I'm going to use my AI tool. Because there is no end to the AI tools, and it is going to be like this, right? So in my opinion, I think everybody should first take a step back, Like this is what I do, and that's what I can probably suggest. And if you try, because catching up with something like AI as of today is not only for QA, but anywhere you go, there is something or the other coming up every day. So I think the idea is to step back. I go to my whiteboard. I try to figure out my workflow today. What I do, like if I'm a QA, okay, the first task is to basically understand the requirement. I'm just giving an example. Maybe at some point of time, everyone's workflow might be different. But then there's a conversation that I have with the devs where I try to figure out what should be my edge cases. Then I basically go and start writing my integration test. Then when the dev is done, I go and do a dev box testing in the developer's box. Like this from end to end, if we can try to paint a picture without AI, this is how the workflow looks like, right? And then figure out that where exactly I'm spending too much of time today. You can apply this framework for any case, by the way, even when you are trying to evaluate a tool as well. Where exactly I'm spending more time today? Is it writing scenarios or coming up with scenarios or missing something while I'm doing a dev box testing in developer's box? Once you have this thing and then choose or go after some tools, you will start seeing the value, right? And not only you will start seeing the value, you will also have a language to translate that value to the business leaders who are essentially giving you the money to basically get that happen, which is very important. Sometimes even before AI, I'm sure all of us have trouble to make business understand the importance of clearing automation backlogs.
Correct.
Right? And sooner or later, you would have realized that it's not that they don't care about automation test. It's as a QA, I'm probably not able to speak their language. What is the
speak the language? That is true.
Oh, right? What is I'm not, if I go and tell a business leader, hey, we have to clear this automation backlog, and for that I need 2 weeks of investment. That person might just, no, I don't care about your automation test. But the same way, if I go and say that, hey, if we do this, your time to market is going to increase because your automation is going to take away the 32 days that you spend on regression testing. That might resonate, right? And when you have figured out, coming back to the previous workflow, when you have this workflow and you figure out that, okay, this is where I'm spending time, and prioritize that, let's figure out what is available in this space to make me more productive. You'll also have a language to translate it to your leaders.
Got it. Interesting.
Right? So value, to sum it up, I think if you are not able to articulate value after, let's say, max 2 weeks or 3 weeks, then you are in the experimentation mode. There is nothing wrong in being in experimentation mode.
Correct.
It has to be a balance.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong. So, yeah, it's not wrong to be in an experimentation mode, but at certain point of time, you have to come out of that mode and start showing value to your stakeholders or leadership, whosoever is the key decision maker there. Yeah. In between, I'll also take audience questions because I don't want this to be a kind of a monologue between you and me. Okay, this is an interesting question, and I think this might be of a lot of people. I'll share this on stream. This is from an anonymous user, and appropriately so. What if my organization is not ready to take chances with using AI? It limits me from exploring possibilities at my job. And I'm not saying I'm not looking at this from not using AI, but also reducing the use of AI. So they're not allowing them to go full-fledged with AI. So both not allowing and not allowing them to go full-fledged. So how do we handle this kind of situation?
Which is, as you aptly said, anonymous for a reason, and I don't blame. But the thing is that the truth, outside India, in my opinion, people are much more restrictive than inside India. What I've seen on these cases. But having said that, I think again it comes to the translation of value, right? It has to be visible, and there are some genuine reasons why people in their organization don't want to use AI, right? Idea is that, hey, I don't know if my data is secure. I don't want to basically go ahead and subscribe to OpenAI or Gemini when I know that I'm dealing with sensitive data. Every test case that the QA team is writing, or every automation script that QA team is writing, it's an IP of the organization. And if I have something like a Claude writing, I don't know where it is going. Right? These are pretty genuine, especially for my sector. I'm from a finance. Right? One of the sectors, by the way. But having said that, I think the idea here is to someone needs to talk to the senior leadership team about this, right? That banning versus restriction, there are two different things. There are organizations that I know is basically banned, like you can't use AI, right? Or stop using AI. Now, there's one good example. One of when I was talking to our CEO, he was saying that there's one other CEO of his friend said that, see, I don't even use laptop today. I love using writing it down in my notebook. Whose loss is this? So I think again it comes to the fact that someone has to articulate the value, figure out what is stopping the organization, and essentially that's what we did. I know at least two big financial organization in India, financial institution in India, in the last 4 months shifted from no to AI to yes to AI, right? And that has to happen when we are able to translate the benefit out of it, when we know how to use it, when we are able to showcase the benefit, even let's say starting with some stub data or something. All the senior leadership needs is a spark to see that, okay, this is going to work. Because your first question still matters. Am I experimenting my organization? Like when I say I'm saying that the SLT organization is not just on experimenting with AI. I'm not going to spend $50,000, $100,000 every month just for experimentation. So I need to see values, and that's rightly so. So I think to summarize 2 points we should do. One is that we should play around with some of the AI tools. There are a lot of like Gemini is almost free, even when you try to use it. Come up with some quick POCs to basically showcase and articulate it. Doing POC is not a big deal with these AIs. Articulating POCs is something that needs to happen, right? Especially QA leaders have to step out here, like
got
right?
It. So I
show the value.
I completely agree. So if it matters to you, we need to take the all possible steps, which could be, let's say, like you correctly mentioned, doing small POCs, trying to articulate that value, and maybe sooner or later you get that buy-in from and of course finding the right champions to champion the cause is also one equally important step. Good. Good here. I had one more question. Okay. This is because you're looking at strategic shifts right now. So this is from Gana here. I'll share it again on screen. What are the essential traits for a QA leader in this AI, Gen AI, AGI, whatever era you call this, right? How to make this paradigm shift both in mindset and skill? What is the differentiator?
Yeah. I think great question, Jan. So I'll leave the AGI part because I don't believe in it.
So, okay. So
there are reasons for this. Maybe in a different talk. Like I don't believe that AGI is possible yet. But let's talk about AI, Gen AI, and agentic AI, because agents are very real today. General intelligence, I don't know. Is it possible to keep the question open, Ashutosh, just so that I don't lose track of the questions, right? How to make the paradigm shift both in mindset and skill. So mindset is this: sooner or later we have to get into using AI, because even if some organizations are not allowing AI or taking the AI path down, like usage down, I'm pretty sure they will also get converted. There will be peer pressure. You'll see that pretty soon there are certain things that are going to happen where they're going to see the benefits, if not from their own organizations, from other organizations, they will get to hear. People started talking about it as well. There are a lot of public things happening where you have to actually see the value. So for QAs, or as a matter of the fact, everybody, the mindset word that you used is the first thing, that it's not here to take your job out, and I can guarantee that. Being my organization is one of the early adopters, where we started from last year April for code writing. Let's say if this is just one of the examples that I take. Even today, you can't take away QA team, because QA team are not testers. They're QAs for a reason. Quality assurance for a reason. Tester is very, um, um, what do you say? It's very, very quantitative, but quality is qualitative, right? And trust me, none of the AIs are in a state where it can think like a QA, in my opinion. In many cases, you will come up with great scenarios from AI, but this only happens when your data is right. And most of the time, let's say, for example, if your PRD is messed up, there's no way QA, like an AI, can come up with great scenarios. So we have to understand that this shift that is happening is for augmentation, right? It's for augmentation of us, and we have to do this because otherwise we'll be falling behind. And one thing that I always say, that, and not I think everyone says that nowadays, that a QA, if I put it in terms of QA, a QA not using AI and QA using AI, the second person is going to take your job. So if you should be fearing, you should be fearing not using that, not that AI is going to take your job. And the skill part, it's important, because how we learn today is going to change as a QAs systematically, in my opinion, right? Learning, like 5-6 years back, let's say I go to Selenium's website and go to their documentation and start learning certain things. The way we learned how to write the best framework for, let's say, something like a UI automation, where we have page object and many other design patterns. This has to change, in my opinion, because you have to come up with a skill of ruthlessly ignoring some tools. That's one of the biggest skills that you have to figure out. Otherwise, you will be analysis paralysis. You will be in the state of analysis paralysis. So this shift you have to figure out. People will come to you and say that, hey, have you used this tool for writing code? Even when your current tool, which is writing good code, you will go there, right?
Correct.
So you have to quickly understand how to be ruthless about ignoring certain things. Whereas you should also keep yourself updated. That's a deadlock, but in a way where you can detach as quickly as possible.
But how do we do this? Okay, that's my last question in this section. Okay, what are the decision-making frameworks which help you evaluate whether to use an AI-based approach, whether to use this tool or that tool, whether to use this way or that way? What is that framework which you use? And then we enter into the next section.
Yeah, and I think let's see if we can come up with a framework for this. Let's take an example. Let's say you are using Cursor to write your code today. That's one of the tools where you are writing your automation tool. And Windsurf comes out. You have been using Cursor for last 3 months, and you know its limitations, you know where it shines and everything, right? So one point to understand is that, do you really need another tool to basically shift as of today? Is there real blockers of your current tools, real challenges that are existing in your current tools? If not, then what I do is I have in my iPad, I'll just keep a note of this tool, right? Anytime when I face something with my current tool, I'll just come here, right? Otherwise, I just spend like 15 minutes to understand what it is doing, so that when time comes, when my current tool is not doing something, I know that, okay, hey, I heard about this tool. Let's go ahead and see if that limitation is there. So first is to figure out, there's a name for this framework. I use this framework a lot. Can you give me a second so that people can relate to this? It's called, it's basically on reach. So RISE framework. So what is RISE? So first thing, when you are picking up a new tool, so step 1 is clear, right? So if I'm already using a tool, it should be absolutely amazing tool to make me shift to that another tool, right? if there's something that I'm looking for and there are too many opportunities or too many tools available for me, the RICE decision making framework is basically talks about first it talks about reach, that the tool that I'm trying to use, what is overall scope of impact that I'm trying to figure it out, right? Speaking of impact, the second thing we have to look at, that if I use this tool, the impact that I'm going to get out of it, is this enough to define my ROI? Like, is it worth, right, to do this? And maybe you can get into some examples as well. C stands for confidence. What is confidence here? So for confidence, I think, so me and Harini Murilnath, I think she was one of the speakers in the couple of, right? She was also in MMA. We are writing a book. We wrote a book, actually, it's going to come up. In one chapter, it's called the value vector. In one chapter, we spoke about degree of unknown framework. What is degree of unknown? Is that it's related to the confidence part. The tool that I am using, how confident I am that it is going to work? Is its capabilities entirely known to me, or somehow known to me, or absolutely unknown to me? To give an example, today I know that Klein or Cursor can do 60 to 70% good job in writing code. But we in our organization, we also have AI calling people to take interviews as well for frontline stuff, right? When we were doing that, the degree of unknown was high. So we had like 5-6 different options. We had to narrow down into certain things that, okay, my latency has to be lesser when a phone call is happening. The AI barely can go wrong, and it should not be speaking something that it is not supposed to speak. Which tool gives me that confidence in this matrix, right? And I think E stands for, if I just figure it out again, sorry, I have to, is the effort. Yes, effort, obviously. The effort, E stands for effort. That if I decide to use certain tools, then how much time or knowledge it's going to take me to basically adopt this tool in the next 14 days. The reason I'm saying 14 days is this is what I use. So 14 days is a box, which is 2 weeks.
You have time boxed the entire experimentation into 2 weeks. So by end of 2 weeks, you should know whether to continue experiment, stop, or let's say build this into something really solid.
Build into something else, something solid. So if, let's say, just for the sake of the fact that if there is a framework of retrieval augmented generation came up, which is on Scala, let's say, I know that to make people understand Scala, it is going to take me time. So I'll probably pick up something like a Python or a JavaScript over Scala, right? So this is more or less, in a way, I think you have to, so you put it right way. So you always have to time box it. Otherwise it's analysis paralysis.
Paralysis. Otherwise there is no end to analysis, right? And that's what we as leaders have to, is our main job is to put timelines to think. Because let's say for younger people, it's very difficult to put in timelines because they're not habituated to effort estimations and all those kind of things. But leaders, it is important to put things into timelines, and because they should see the light of the day, or they should, or we should know that this was trash. So one of the two should happen, right? So it can't be a forever experimentation stage. We are not researching here per se. We are working for businesses. Cool.
And,
so
last point on this is that more or less, I think all of us have noticed, all these tools have a similar IP, right?
That is true. I give you a personal example, right? I used to wipe code on Lovable first, and then I had a lot of problems initially about May to September, now 4 months back. Then I moved to Replit. It was working like a breeze. I developed 10 utilities for our organization internally to let's use Replit now. One which I showed to you also there, right? So then now Lovable has gained funding. Now they're doing more growth. So the people are saying Lovable is going great. So I have so much of attraction towards Lovable now, but I don't want to move because I've already developed so much on Replit. I don't want to move my entire code base to, let's say, from Replit to Lovable and then start from scratch because it's already working for me. And I'm not facing any issues, like you rightly mentioned. I'm not facing any major issues that forces me to just migrate there because it's getting more popular.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is where you keep a note of Lovable. What are the new features coming up? And continue to use Replit unless and until you face something.
I don't know. I also don't want to pay for 2 subscriptions at the same time. I want to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to pay for only one. So,
and I'm giving you these advices, but to be very fair, as of today, my monthly subscription for AI tools, OpenAI, I don't have to pay because of the red team. I have to somehow I got this. But even without paying OpenAI, my monthly subscription is 26,000. My personal use, not for office. My personal usage.
100%. So it goes like that. So yeah, cool. So I wanted to go into real world use of AI in testing, but I will skip this for now, and if time permits, we'll come back again because I want to discuss about agents and agentic workforce and testing. Okay, because that I think should be the next segment. So okay, unbox us or let's say double click on this. What do we exactly mean by when we say agents, when we say agentic workforce, and why does it matter right now?
Yeah, I also saw someone ask this question: agentic AI versus AI agents.
Yeah, right? So this was also a question. Yeah.
This was also a question. I think someone asked that question.
Yeah, so I wanted to take this next, but since you bought in, so I put this.
Yeah, because I think this will get answered. This will get answered while we try to do this. So what are AI agents? Are like it somehow when LLMs or chatbots or ChatGPT came up, we saw that LLMs are crazily creepy at certain point of time, but at the same time they're absolutely stupid, right? Because they need context to work with, right? So one. The second point is that sometimes there is a restriction for LLMs to go ahead and do something that they want to do, but they don't have any means to do this, right? To give an example, LLMs are like brains. So imagine that if I'm just a floating head today, I just have brains, like no eyes, nose, nothing, ears, and nothing, but just a brain. And you're talking to me, I'll be probably able to guide you with whatever I know. But let's say if you want me to do something for you while you are doing something else, you have to give me hands, you have to give me eyes, you have to also give me sometimes ears to hear something out as well, right? So this is where I think agentic AI kind of comes in, where we try to create an engineer. So agentic, in my opinion, I speak it every time that agentic is not an AI, it's an engineering. AI is still the large language models or the large reasoning models that we have. Right. So essentially, agentic engineering is making LLMs a lot more smarter because they will have access to tools. Today, if I say that, hey, I want to go to Goa, how many 20 ml sunscreen lotion I need to take to an agentic chatbot, I don't know how to come up with an answer. I leave it to the AI agent to first plan it out. And the AI agent might plan first, which is the LLM, by the way, not the agents yet. Plan that, okay, first I have to figure out how much sunscreen lotion is good for a human body. How much sunscreen lotion is good for a human body. Then I have to figure out when the person is going, is there sun or it is raining. So if there is no sun, there is no point of putting too much sunscreen lotion about it. And to do all these things, the agentic frameworks or agentic engineering provides LLMs with certain tools at hand, like research, calculations, etc. Right? And all these things are basically providing context to the LLM to give you a response that you want to look at, right? So for models to get context, the tools existing at any given point of time is an agentic solution. And when we make these tools available to LLM through a protocol, we call it model context protocol, which all of us know about, right? MCP, how easily we can connect these two, right? So this is a very very straight cut way how agentic engineering is happening today. Having said that, we have to be very careful. I keep on talking. We have to be very careful about agentic engineering because agents are slow thinkers by design, right? Because they are supposed to be reasoning, right?
Correct.
Did I don't know if I think in one of my talks I showed you this exercise of DeepSeek versus ChatGPT. What happens when
I think yes. I think yes, yeah.
right? So if you go to ChatGPT and you say and use GPT 4.0 and you ask what is 1+1, it will immediately tell you 2. But if you go to DeepSeek and say what is 1+1, you will see that it will think for 15 seconds before it says it is 2, because it is designed to reason as a large reasoning model, right? And which means that 1+1 calculator is not an agentic use case, just if you look at that way. So agents are very slow thinkers. So we always use agents for critical paths, critical use cases, where we want agents to basically think and plan at least like humans do. In all other cases, we use retrieval augmented generation, which is the best. You will see 99 or 95% of the cases today is the best solution is a retrieval augmented generation. Now coming to the question, what are agents, AI agents and agentic AI? So AI agents is a single agent with all this, with an LLM, with a set of tools at hand, and you can talk to it and basically figure it out. Agentic AI is more of an orchestration, right? So every agentic framework, the three well-known agentic framework today is Crew AI, Autogen, and LangGraph.
And LangGraph, yeah.
Right, so three main. There are many more came. NA10 is a low-code came up, but these are the three if you want to build something on your own. They have when you go to the classes, when you get to see, when you install the package, when you try to write, they have a hierarchical structure. So you have to define a boss agent, and boss agent will have multiple agents at its disposal to do tasks. And the job of boss agent is to distribute task, plan and distribute task, right? For example, in the previous example, when I said that I need to find out how much sunscreen lotion is good for a human body, this boss agent will distribute to a researcher agent to go and research something like a clinical pub, right? Uh, the boss agents plan on that. Hey, what is the current weather? One of my other agents return me what is the current weather in Goa, or what is going to be when the user is traveling. That goes to a weather agent, right? So this orchestration that you see is the agentic AI orchestration that we kind of talk about, where multiple agents come together to create an orchestration, right? The same task can be done by single agent also, but to make the orchestration or something like that, this is where it kind of comes in, right?
Got it. And
Answer
so
in a way.
okay, yeah. So we discussed about. So I understood about agentic workforce also. Cool. This is good. Okay. Uh, Now since you have so methodically explained AI agent, agentic AI, and everything else, how does a meaningful collaboration between a human tester, let's say human in the loop, and a AI agent look like on a day-to-day basis? How do they collaborate? So now I keep hearing people now saying that now my team will have 3 humans and 4 agents. So, so that's how teams are going to be designed. I'm not sure whether this will happen or how much do you agree to this, but how does a human interact with an agent on a day-to-day basis? Because they also can reason, think,
Yeah.
and do, yeah.
Yeah. So I think, see, in my opinion, any critical decisions, let's talk about QAs right now, but it's true for anywhere, it still should be taken by human. And when I try to put in a QA's workflow, let's say you have one, let's talk about AI agent first. Let's say you have one AI agent whose job is to give you test cases by reading some PRD or by browsing your current web application where it can navigate and do that. Now the point here is that when it comes back with a set of test cases, let's say you also ask it to basically tag it smoke or regression, smoke or regression, smoke or regression, find out the test case and also tell me whether it's a smoke or a regression test. As a human, we have to define what is a smoke test in my context, because that context will be not known to the AI agent that you are doing, right? So for example, in my organization, I have seen that I pick up a test case and I ask myself a question: if this test case fails, will I stop my deployment or not? If the answer is yes, this is a smoke test, right? Now, when the AI tags, you will see that it is also tagging regression as a smoke, smoke as a regression most of the time. So we have to create this ecosystem where the QA takes a decision. Okay, bhai, out of this 10 thing, I think all 10 smokes are good, but this regression that you put, I don't know why you have put this as a regression. This is actually a unit test. This should not come in the integration layer. So this is one case where human will come in the loop. The other thing is obviously when execution is happening, when AI is writing code, thankfully I can actually vouch for the fact that AI can write good code. If properly directed, AI can write good code.
So if you have so what I've understood is that if you are even remotely tech and you can understand coding to some extent, then you can make really good use of these agents. But if you don't understanding coding altogether, then there'll come a time when you'll get stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. And you will get stuck, or the tools are smarter today. You might get unblocked, but you will see that you have spent $50 for doing something which, if you know code, could have been done in $2.
Correct.
Because you know how to talk to it.
Correct.
Right. So I think humans should come in every time when it has to talk to AI, and that's a habit that we have to figure out how to talk to AI.
We should talk it like I always think that we should talk like a human to him. That you're talking like as to your friend, and to someone who doesn't understand anything. So there is, like we said in remote work, right? There is nothing called as over communication. So you can over communicate as much as possible, and just don't leave any leaking points there in terms of miscommunications.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine that someone has done a BTech in computer science for 4 years, right? Joins an organization, and the expectation is that the moment you enter the office premise, the day one, you should write the best test case for me, or you should code the best possible way for me. It is highly unfair of that person, which is similarly for AI as well. AI has the knowledge, but it has to understand the business context, which is different for my business and your business. And that has to be taught to it by human. When it comes to agentic AI, by the way, just one more thing why human in the loop is important is because AI agents, as we discussed, can also execute on your behalf. It is not just retrieving, it's also executing. So you have to basically define, when you are bringing an AI agent into a QA's work system, you have to be absolutely sure where you want automation and where you want it to be autonomous, where it basically goes ahead and says that this is what I'm going to do, should I do it or not? And you should press the button in critical cases. You can rely on it for non-critical cases, and that's where you have to define where you need to pitch in, where you don't have to pitch in, right? There are, if I may add a quick example of here, is that I have seen in one of the other organizations that the AI agents are fixing the flaky tests, right? Or developers, it's the early stage of the development. The IDs of buttons and text box are changing very frequently because things are happening and automation is failing. And at certain point of time, the requirement said that remove the submit button. What the AI agent did is it figured out that the submit button is not there, and it created the submit button and then ran the test to say that the test is passing. Whether it changed the requirement entirely. You got what I'm saying? There was a requirement that the button should not be there. It ran the test failed, and said that, hey, button is not there. Let me first add the button and then run the test again. Right? Which is where you need to understand what is my critical path to basically I need to pitch in.
Understood. Cool. I think we wanted to go into responsible AI and upskilling and design, but we will not have much time, and I should take some audience questions here at this point of time. This is from I had this question. Okay. This is from Prathamesh. Good question again. This was in my list also. Which area of software testing, apart from test case generation, automation, reporting, analytics, have you been able to see or justify the most ROI, or if there's anything which is not in this list?
Yeah, I think definitely automation, right? Reporting and analytics. We have seen a lot of ROI coming because we have the team basically passing the report to an AI system to basically make sense out of that. So it has uncovered. So when you have the logs in the failures, it has helped us to basically stack down a lot faster to the root cause of the failure, right? And this is possible for us because we actually made this entire agentic system. Like something fails, then we have a Grafana agent where this QA agent can actually interact with the Grafana agent to get more clarification to find the root cause analysis. And test case generation, I'll tell you why the ROI is there is because every time when the normal non-critical set of test cases that QA used to write are very swift right now. So QAs are not spending time on that. So QAs are spending time on actual critical test case scenarios. So that has definitely saved us time. Justify the most ROI because I think, as I was saying, the automation coverage is increasing, but also because you mentioned reporting and analytics, the time to track the actual failure for a test has improved massively for us, for developers. At least I have seen in Piramal as well as in a couple of other organizations as well.
Got it. Interesting. This was done. Swapnil's question is similar. Okay, this was again from about MCPs, which I'll take. We see again anonymous. We see the codes getting generated using MCPs, and then how do QA now say he's a master automation framework? What will be the role of an automation SME, and will it be how efficient it will be if he uses AI with minimal promoting? I'm not 100%. Let's
prompting. I think minimal prompting.
Minimal prompting. Okay,
yeah. Right. So generated using MCPs. So now again, I'd like to question that. So I am a QA by blood as well, and I think I'd be preferred to call myself a better QA rather than a master of automation framework all the time. Because the reason I was writing the automation framework because I wanted to provide a quality software, right? So, and I think as of today, this massive task, as you rightly said, has been taken up by a lot of tools like Cursor or something, which behind the scene uses a lot of MCPs. That kind of connects with multiple other applications. So I think the automation SME, I personally feel that the QA is a better role than an automation SME. That is my personal choice. I always prefer that. I have written a lot of codes in my life as a QA, but I have introduced myself always as a QA rather than an automation QA. Right? So, and that is not going to go away, as I was saying in the previous as well. How today people uses the prompt to code tools to basically create the automation frameworks depends on the prompting. Sometimes minimal prompting will work. Sometimes you have to give a lot of context. It depends on the tool that you are using. But at the end of the day, the test cases are basically reactive, right? So we have to change the mindset again. This is the first question. I think we spoke about mindset. In my opinion, the mindset should change from writing tests to reducing risks. As a QA, how quickly I can proactively I can make the risks visible to the team or my business is much more important in my opinion than writing automation code today, because AI can write it. So you can leave it to AI and you can spend time more on quality assurance, right? No one is stopping us to basically go ahead and come up with a lot of frameworks, a lot of tools. So my take is in this. I think there's nothing to worry about. QA, just remove the automation part out of it and tag yourself as QA rather than automation SME.
Got it. I'll take this last question. I think this audience question, I think more or less you're done. So this will be the last question for the day, folks, which I have. Okay, how do you restructure your team, or how do you upskill your team to be more AI aware without triggering chaos, confusion, and fear?
So without triggering chaos, by the way, this is the last question, but after that, because we have to touch something on, in my opinion, so I'll take 2 minutes about the responsible AI as well, because you brought it up.
Correct. No, I wanted to take this, but I thought that this would need more time, so I thought I'll do it the next time.
No, I'll take 2 minutes just to trigger the thought in people, because today itself,
it's important.
Me and Harini tested something, and I'll show it to you on OpenAI. But coming back to this, I think chaos. I think we already know that there is no reason for being a chaos if you are keeping yourself updated today, because there are many cases where we need human in the loop. Whether you use plain LLMs to come up with scenarios or you use your agentic workforce, you need QAs to basically go ahead and do this to have a pair of eyes. Now, learning culture is something needs to be implemented, because otherwise, in today's era, has a very cruel way to throw you irrelevant as quickly as possible.
100%. And right? Because we have more leaders here in general, ageism is also real. Ageism is real. Ageism is also real. So there is absolutely no, it's almost non-negotiable now to not upskill.
Yes. And I think I personally, like what I do in our organization, we do a hackathon every 3 weeks or 4 weeks. We do 2 days of hackathon where we actually, people get a focus to basically innovate. So keeping certain time away from day-to-day work and basically do a once a month hackathon is one of the great ideas what I have seen to basically learn, because it's like going to the gym, right? I've been watching the gym videos for last 2 years. I've not stepped into the gym in the last 2 years. So when you actually use those things while you try to build something is the best way to learn, in my opinion. And as QA leaders, I think it's important us to not go too deep and be that enabler for the team to see, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Right? And have a collective knowledge sharing, because even if I want today, I cannot get all the information in my head. So I have to distribute that, right? I have to distribute that. And I think it is important as QA leaders to basically wear the hat of enablers. And what I sometimes do is I just sit with the team for 15-20 minutes. That, hey, I heard that, okay, Replit has this, or should we try one of the things which did not work for us? Or Klein has released a new version where it can shrink down your context so that your LLM doesn't go out of context. So just sit with your team to learn together, because all of us are learning, right? But do have to learn. Keep times even today, because it will throw you irrelevant if you don't get into the habit of learning.
That is 100% true. I genuinely agree that.
One very tricky way. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, please go ahead. You go ahead, please.
No, I just wanted to add this. One thing I keep on telling that I invested 3 years back, which is helping me today.
Yeah, I was coming to the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, you're coming to the same thing? Okay. So what I did is basically I created a YouTube Gmail account with which I watch YouTube for the last 3.5 years, I think, roughly. That account is only to watch AI things in that YouTube when I log in there. So I just changed this. So as of today, what happens is that the moment I open that YouTube, I get to see what I want to see or what I should see and nothing else. I'm strict on that. I don't watch anything else on that.
But,
not even search.
I can't tell how many people I've told this hack of yours, right? That's how you can build a knowledge base on the internet where there is so much of distraction available that if you keep an ID which just watches just one particular stream, which could be AI for you, it could be something else for someone else, but it just brings you content on that piece, right? So great. Okay, let's take 2 minutes on responsible AI, and then I think we'll call it off.
Yeah. So I'm not going to, because we don't have, as Ashutosh, you were also mentioning, it's a pretty broad topic. Maybe a 1 hour of discussion will go in that. But I just wanted to put this thought on everybody else here, is that how important is to think about something like a biasness and everything. And today morning, me and Harini were just talking, and we thought that, okay, let's see what ChatGPT does on one of our question, right? So let me just quickly share my screen. I'll share my entire screen. Is my screen visible?
No, I'll have to make it visible. Yeah. Now it will be visible. Yeah.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, it is visible. Yeah.
Okay.
So just hold on. What I will do is I'll move the two of us out of this so that they can see full screen. Yeah.
I've just gone ahead. So this is the latest model of ChatGPT, right? And the question that we asked is that I have to cook and also take care of my baby. I know I am going to be fully drenched in next 30 minutes. Quickly tell me an option for a dress that I can change to for going to shopping after I put my baby to sleep, right? If you see the response, I have never said that I am a mother. I can be a dad as well, right? The options that came is this. So that is the biasness of the data that we are talking about, right? And I wanted to show you this. If OpenAI as an organization is still struggling to basically do that, it is important to figure out in our use cases when we are actually coming up with tests, when you're asking your LLM to come up with test cases around something, is it being biased as well into a certain set of test cases which probably may or may not make sense to your applications as well? And there are techniques to do that. Maybe that is for another day's talk. But I wanted to bring this up because it was the latest
important.
finding.
Yeah, it is so. So I believe the kind of AI adoption which has happened and which will continue to happen, the talk on responsible AI should now start, should get more mainstream before we make catastrophic mistakes where something weird can happen and it can cost people, organizations, millions of dollars, right?
Yeah, and regardless of your industry, if the organization is adopting AI without putting a proper governance framework, they're going to be in trouble. There are going to be trouble, I can tell live.
Correct. So we should do a separate one on this sometime in, let's say, next quarter or so. Yeah. So thank you, Jaydeep. Thank you, Jaydeep, for doing this. You're passionate about AI, and use of AI in tech is so visible. It's so visible, and thank you so much for doing this. And like always, I appreciate that. And folks, please feel free to fill the feedback form. Very essential for us to improve, essential for us to improve, and this keeps us on our toes. We get back feedback also, and we want to improve on those points. So whatever is your honest opinion, just put that. Thank you, JD. I'll move you to backstage now, where my team will take care of you, and they have some discussion points there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And I will do some admin duties before I call it off. Yeah.
Sure. And thank you so much, and thank you everyone again. I saw that you stayed back. Thank you so much for listening, and I had a great time. And thank you for the invite, Ashutosh.
Yeah, cool. I'll now move you backstage, do my admin duties, and come back again. Thank you.
Sure.